Item 1 is routine. We'll call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock and record the members present.
Wilson.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Babcock.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Morris.
Here. Item 2 is the consent agenda. The following items may be approved in their entirety by the board upon motion made, seconded, and passed by a majority. Any member may request a separate vote on any or all items contained in the consent agenda. Nobody has any questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Wilson.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item 3, no action. Item 4 is informational reports. A, superintendent's report.
Try to go through this real quick. As everybody pretty much knows, the referendum petition is going out. There's I've shared timelines with teachers and let them know kind of what's going on and where all of that information is at, and give them, directing towards resources. Of course, not telling them to support or not support, just giving them information. We'll see what happens with it, but it puts a lot of stuff in question. Joy Hoffmeister did ask the AG to issue an opinion. I sent that out to teachers, and some of the other organizations have asked the Supreme Court to look at it, and different, we'll see how it goes. It puts a lot of things in question with what the legislature has been able to pass for through this last year. Finances, we are right on track where we thought we'd be. It looks like our carryover is going to be right at the $840,000 mark. Revenues coming in a little low, but it's kind of what we expected. Some of the local collections are under collecting, but we saw this coming. Worked with the treasurer to make sure that the numbers were right. And we are expecting possibly some funds are under collecting, but like the rural electric's over collecting. So they're kind of offsetting, but right now I think about 30,000 less than what we were expecting in some of the estimates, but other funds are coming in. Right now you could probably guesstimate, and that's about what it is. Total revenue received this year is about 1.48, which compared to last year, 1.52. So that was already figured in though into the budget. When we do our budget and estimate needs, that'll be figured at basically 90% unless that fund is allowed to be figured at 100%. So that'll be coming months later. Health and Safe, school committee met again this month. We've got a lot of work ahead for that committee to meet. We will they're starting to begin the process of going through a lot of emergency procedures, a lot of the documents that haven't been looked at in a little while, update those, make recommendations as they walk around the building and see things that we need to put on maintenance lists or anything of that nature. But they'll meet again and just continue to meet. It's an ongoing process, not just a one-time-a-year thing. These committees will end up becoming back to mandatory. They're right now optional. With the revenue increase that the legislature has put in place, these committees were suspended until House Bill 1017 was funded again. Now House Bill 1017 is going to be funded every year, and then it'll be back to mandatory. But it's just good practice to make sure we're checking our kids out and that we're keeping the building safe. So that's why we continue doing it even though it wasn't mandated. I've given you the high school basketball schedule. That is boys and girls. That is now, we've confirmed with every district. The only thing that's not confirmed on there would be the Medford tournament, but that's the same time it was as last year, so it's we're planning to be that Medford tournament again, but everything else was confirmed. We have one extra game at the moment, but we think one team is going to drop because we're allowed to have 16 teams or 16 games. So one may drop off, but everybody has confirmed at the moment. E-rate, we did receive our E-rate funding this year. We are increasing our bandwidth for the district. This is paid through E-rate and USAC, which basically is a wash for us. One thing that will be different for us this year is our landline phone service is no longer offset. The 20% dropped off. This is the last year for it for us. So now the phone bill is completely 100% ours. That's been being phased out for the last 4 or 5 years. But we did get our internet fully funded for next year, and that working on the process to switch that over to, if I remember, it's 500 megs a second. And we had to go to that because of a federal guideline that tells us we had to have a minimum of 320, but E-rate rules says you can't bid that amount. It has to be 250 or 500. So they said round up. Okay, we'll round up. Transportation, Suburban number 3, a month or so ago, had a valve problem, lost a cylinder, not quite working right. Mr. Davey took it apart, went through it, worked with Shane a little bit on it to find out what exactly was wrong with it. We got some bids to see what it would take to fix. When some of those came in, we looked and said, what would it cost to just put a used engine in it? Went around and around and around and got some bids in, so we're just going to replace it, not replace the engine, but repair the valves right now. From the way it's been explained to me, the variable valves that as you're driving it drops from 4 to 8.
Delivers.
Those cause a problem and they go out. It's a common thing that's on this engine, and so we should be able to fix that for right at $2,000. District communication plan.
Is that PO number 287?
I don't know the number. Yes.
Okay.
Our texting service is now up and running. It has a few little bugs still. We've used it once beyond testing, and so far no one's told us it hasn't worked. But it is up and going, so we'll be ready to go this next year with it. Summer maintenance, I gave you a list. This is kind of I just asked everybody to put everything they could think down, and then we'll go through that, prioritize, and take the money we have and time we have and see what we can get done through the summer. So I just wanted you to have an idea of a lot of the things we're looking at doing this summer. Going to be very busy. So that's all I have.
Testing, it is finished. Everything went really smooth. I think a lot of the teachers had some good feedback, enjoyed that it did go as smooth as it did. We should be getting some of the third grade reports back as early as June this year, which is completely different than last year, thank goodness. I have gotten most of the ACT test results back, just got them today. They're looking really good. We have a few that are low, but overall they are up, and the ones that had taken it previously and retook it this April, their scores have gone up, so that's a good sign. So that was good to see. We did have one young man, Miles Nixon, go to regionals for track. Did not place there, but he had on one of his rounds, golf, sorry, yes. On one of his rounds had his top score that he had personal best, so that was good to hear for him. And then we had two young men go to track. I wrote those backwards. Go to track, and that was Chris Fargo and Angel Cardenas in pole vaulting, first year to do pole vaulting, so that was good for them to have that experience and get to go. And then our FFA, of course, we had the banquet, got all that done, did all the awards. Pretty smooth year overall. I think they did a pretty good job, had a lot of awards, a lot of scholarships that were won because of it, which you'll be hearing about in the next few days. So our kids did really well with that. And thank you, Mr. Weber, for helping make that happen. Our awards assembly will be this Friday. The elementary will start at 9 o'clock and the high school will start at 1. The elementary does go through 8th grade, so that will be pre-K through 8th grade in the morning. And then baccalaureate will be Saturday at 6, and graduation will be Saturday at 7. We will be doing some preparatory exercises on Thursday and Friday to make sure we're ready for graduation and baccalaureate. And that will be for pre-K, 8th, and high school this year. Then, right after graduation, on May 21st, our seniors will be leaving for their senior trip. They'll return on May 27th. They're going to Washington, D.C. and New York, getting to see a lot of awesome landmarks that someday I wish to go see myself, and then getting to go see a Broadway play as well.
So why don't you become a sponsor?
Well, one of these days I might.
You said pre-K, you mean kindergarten?
I mean kindergarten, yes,
Okay.
sorry, yeah. No, Jack's not gonna have to do that this year. You left out that. Yeah, kindergarten. Thank you for that clarification.
That it?
Have to keep me straightened out. That's it.
All right. Item number 5 is general. A is discussion of possible action to approve summer school calendar. 1, begin June 4th, through 29th, 2018, 8 to 3, offering 2 classes. Instructor Ms. Sheelight, physical science with lab, and 2 is Bryant Weber, computer applications 1 or 2.
These will be, the science class will be 8 to noon, the computer class will be 1 to 3, but there is flexibility depending upon exactly what our students need when we know exactly who's going to be there. So it may be physical science, it's going to be some science, we know that, in a computer class, but it'll be dependent upon student need.
So you vote on each one of these?
You're voting on the calendar to start June 4th through 29th at 8 to 3.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item 2, there is a summer reading program from 9 to noon with Ms. Wilson.
She'll be teaching our summer reading program.
I'll make a motion to approve item 2.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item B is discussion and possible action to approve updated 2018-19 school calendar.
We had some updates once we got Career Tech's calendar. Some of the updates would be extending the first semester through the 21st of December to mirror Career Tech. We were originally scheduled to be out on the 19th, but that will extend now to the 21st, adjusting when we come back to the students coming back on the 7th of January. Michelle, help me, I can't remember what some of the other, that was mainly it. But I can't remember the other, I know those were the 2 big ones, because it adjusted some of the breaks. One difference, Career Tech will be out for the whole week of November for Thanksgiving, whereas we'll be in the Monday and Tuesday currently, unless we decided to change that, where Career Tech won't be in. But we've already talked about making plans for our students to do things here that morning with them that we can use. So.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item C is discussion of possible action to contract with Alcohol and Drug Testing Incorporated for employee DOT and student substance tests.
Same company as we have right now.
Make a motion to approve item C.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yeah.
Reed,
Yeah.
Morris.
Yes. Item D is discussion of possible action to purchase school copiers per bid request. 1, office color printer. Item 2 is library black and white printer. Item 3 is optional, second black and white.
We are at the end of our lease agreement on the copiers we currently have. So sent out a bid request to everyone around possibly that we could find that would bid us to find out what they would have. We gave them specifications. Want to put a color machine in the office that be networked, everybody will be able to use it just like we have them now. This one would be a faster black machine in here though than what would be in the office. And then we thought about looking at a third machine. You have a spreadsheet inside your packet that contains all the bids we have at this point. This would not be a lease, this would be a purchase. If we wanted to look at a lease, we would have to change what we're doing. But you can see for the office copier, given them the specifications we asked for, the cartridge prices is what we would pay for the maintenance agreement. So the second item you see after this one, when we get back to the maintenance, approving the maintenance agreement, that's where those prices come in. I based everything off of a Canon Image Runner, mainly because I was familiar with that machine the most. So I knew how to find the info off of it and then tell everybody what's close enough to these specs. Surprisingly though, it came in the most expensive, so it's not, I don't think it's a good option for us. But you see the prices there. There is an option to buy a used version of that machine for $6,000. A Konica Minolta from an SPC for $5,600, $5,699. Office Copier Solutions for $4,300 for a Toshiba. And I forgot what OSI stands for.
Office Solutions.
And they have the Laniers, which if I remember right, Lanier is the same as a Konica.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. There's a company that they just put a different name on it, same copier.
Is it a Rico?
Rico, that's it, thank you. Because that shows up later somewhere. But my recommendation, even though I'm not the greatest fan of a Toshiba, I just don't know any negatives about them. We tried to find everything we could, just don't have enough information. But for the price, at $4,300 for a 45-a-minute color machine, that's cheap. We paid right now for the last 5 years leasing these two, which end of June, they're gone. We paid nearly $13,000
So,
over the 5 years. So by buying this machine and another one, we're still going to be about half that cost.
So when we do repairs on these, it's all on them, right?
The repair, that's the maintenance agreement part.
So if we turn around and buy it, then all the repairs are on us?
No,
No?
no, we have the option of continuing a maintenance agreement on the machine. We own it, but we pay them a price per copy to come and fix it. And it's for the Toshiba with OK Copiers, 5 cents a color copy and half a cent a black copy. And you can see where everybody else came in on their prices, more expensive. So my recommendation, based upon the lowest bid, would be the Toshiba 4505 for the office and the Toshiba 4508 for the library. You can see the prices there.
So you're saying Toshiba for all of them,
Yes, same. They came in so much under.
using OK Copier Solutions?
Correct. couldn't see spending $2-3 grand more.
Almost 10.
Or almost 10, yes. That one's kind of out the window. There's a state contract disappeared that I was able to buy a Canon on 3 years ago. That's no longer available. So it made it competitive, and that contract's gone.
I think we just need the two then.
The two, and then we talked about adding a third. We couldn't even figure out where to exactly to put it. It would be helpful to have a third machine around, but it's not a necessity. It would just be nice. We talked about where to put it. And where do we want to put it? Where would it fit? Where would the teachers be able to actually use it? And we kept drawing blanks, so I said, I guess we need to kind of hold off on buying a third copier at the moment until we see we really do need it.
So your recommendation then is the Toshiba?
Just the two.
The two. And I will make that motion. We purchase the Toshiba for the office and for the library.
I'll second it.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item E is discussion of possible action to approve copier maintenance agreement for 2018-19.
Now that we know who we're buying it from, now we need to approve the maintenance agreement for that machine at the 5 cent and half a cent.
I'll make a motion to approve item E.
So,
Second.
Who is that? I missed
Reed.
it.
He's got a question.
I'm sorry?
Shane, something else.
so which one, we're getting the library, the library copier or the workroom copier?
Library, just the library and the office.
Okay.
And the prices are the same.
5, 6 cents.
Okay. So this is the service price here.
Correct.
That's the purchase price.
Yeah, that's the maintenance, well,
Right,
it would
right.
cost us for the maintenance. That's what the machine costs, and then add this.
I guess, yes.
Wilson, Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock. Did you say yes?
Hmm?
Did you say yes?
Yes, I said yes.
Didn't hear you.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.
You did say yes?
Yes, I said yes.
Item
What
F
about
is
yes did you not understand?
Item F is discussion of possible action to review and update children's internet protection policies in accordance with CIPA guidance.
So every year we have, not every year, it's just good practice. This is great funding we just received. They require us to be SEPA compliant. So it's just good practice to review those policies and procedures. And one of the things you have to have is an internet safety policy. We have an internet safety policy that meets guidelines. The other is to have technology protection, which we filter our internet. It's through Barracuda device we had. We're looking at switching that now over the summer to another source that will put anybody that comes onto our network under that filtering, no matter what device they bring in, which it'd just be more robust for about what we're paying now. The third is to have a public notice and meeting, in which we're doing right now. So those are the three things we or recommended to do to be SEPA compliant. So does anybody have any questions about our internet protection or anything of that nature?
Who checks it?
I've been checking it to make sure that the filter's on and make sure it blocks sites. And right now it's blocking sites we don't want it to block.
Yes, it is.
Block everything, that's good.
But it's not blocking some things that should. That's one reason we're looking to make a switch. So, but it does need SEPA at the moment. Any other questions?
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item number 6 is finance. A is discussion of possible action to approve fiscal year 2019 temporary appropriations.
You have two options here, or more options. This is to get us started in July so we can start making payments and bills. Our auditor sent our temporary appropriation at 90% of this year's appropriation. You can approve that, or the other option, I'm requesting 80%, just with some of the uncertainties with some of the funds that would be coming in. I think would be just be a little better conservative. We can approve, you're legally allowed to approve 100% of what we had this year. But it's just always better to approve less, do the estimate of needs, and then we'll know where we are in October, September timeframe. My recommendation would be the 80% of this year's budget as our temporary.
Let's make a motion, we go with the 80%.
Second.
Wilson,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes. Item number 7 is personnel. Item A is proposed executive session to discuss Mr. James Miller's superintendent contract and Ms. Dawn Watson's resignation in accordance with the provision of Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307B1. I will make a motion to go into executive session at 7:28.
Second.
Wilson.
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Babcock.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Morris.
Yes.